Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. We are having a cozy sewing day.
Leaves falling to the ground, whispers in the wind so loud. Hand in hand we walk around in this autumn love we found. Golden hues and pumpkin spice, warmest sweaters feel so nice in your eyes.
I'm really excited for today's project. We are going to be making one of my favourite sewing patterns ever, the Valdivia sweater designed by Alissah Threads. I made a version of this a few years ago in a beautiful blue cable knit luxury fabric from Higgs Higgs, and that jumper is basically my entire personality throughout the autumn winter. I have worn it more times than I can count, and the fabric is such good quality that it looks as good as new. So it was an easy decision when I was choosing what fabric to use for this project. I obviously went back to the Higgs Higgs website and picked up the same one in a different colour. I have chosen the copper colourway of the Angora cable knit, and it's so delicious. It is this beautiful warm coppery shade. It almost reminds me of a biscuit. It's so lovely, and this fabric is amazing. This is not an ad, by the way. I'm just obsessed with this fabric. It is the best quality. It's so soft. It's not itchy at all. It's lovely to wear, but it's also not too heavy either. So it's really great for layering and wearing through the autumn, through the winter, and even into the spring. You would have seen earlier that I've already printed out my pattern and stuck it together. I have decided to go for the cropped version of the sweater with the puff and bishop sleeve. I nearly did the bishop sleeve, but I absolutely love the puff at the shoulders on my blue one, so I decided I was just going to make that again. But I went for the cropped version this time because I found that my blue one has a little bit too much fabric to tuck into skirts and trousers sometime, but we are going for the full on humongous sleeve. I'm really excited. So something to note before you start cutting this fabric, the majority of the stretch is across the width. Can you see? It's got a really good give across the width. However, I like to have the cables running down. So to get around the direction of the stretch, what I do is I will pop the stretch going across when I do my cuffs and when I do my neckband and my waistband, but for the rest of the jumper that doesn't really need the stretch, I just have the cables running down because that's just what I prefer. It's totally based on preference. If you would rather have them going across the widthways, then you're making your life a lot easier. But I really like how it looks when they're running it downwards. So now everything's cut out, we're ready to go. I did make a couple of adjustments to the pattern, so just to fill you in, I made the shoulders smaller by 1/2 inch. I graded them in to the size extra small because I always have issues with shoulders and them being too big, and that's exactly what I did last time. And I also added 1 inch to the bottom hem because I'm not sure I want a waistband. As I mentioned earlier, I always tuck my jumpers in, and I find that if I have a waistband it makes it a bit too bulky to tuck in. And one of my favourite jumpers is loose fitting and doesn't have that, and it sits so nicely with skirts and things. So I've decided I'm going to leave that off. If I change my mind, I've got loads of fabric left, so I can add that later. This is quite a thick fabric, so I'm using my walking foot for this one. So for the stitch for this type of fabric, I will use a zigzag stitch, the number 7 on my machine. And then I will make the width of the stitch narrower. So I've taken mine down to 1.5, and then I'm going to take my length up to 3, and that works so well with knits for me. So everybody's different when sewing knits. A lot of people just go straight into overlocking everything and don't bother with putting it through their machines, or if you don't have an overlocker, you just do your machine finish and leave it at that. However, I like to do both. I just really like that extra bit of seam reinforcement, and if it's something it's going to get a lot of wear as well, it just makes me more comfortable. I like a bit more of a secure finish, just so I don't risk seams kind of unraveling and things. Not that I've ever had that with anything I've put through my overlocker, but it's always a possibility. So our first step is sew together the shoulder seams and the side seams too. Sorry, the light has gone. It's the most dingy day ever, but I've just overlocked all of my seams on my sleeves, my shoulders, and my side seams as well. So now we are ready to attach the neckband. So that's my neckband attached. As you can see, I am going to run it around the overlocker in a minute. I went for the regular neckband as included in the pattern this time. When I made my blue one, I made it bigger, so I doubled the width of it and just tightened it up a bit as well to give it more of kind of a crew neck style, but I wanted something a bit more relaxed this time. So I'm just gathering together my sleeves, and I haven't been following the instructions for this because I've made sweatshirts and things so many times I can kind of do it off the top of my head, but I haven't actually made a jersey sweatshirt for a really long time, and I've realised that I have assembled this wrong in terms of the sleeves. So in Alissah's instructions, she sews the sleeve to an open shoulder seam and then sews together the sleeve and the side seam all in one. There is a technical term for that, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. And I am setting the sleeves in, which on this kind of sweatshirt with the big sleeves is a lot more difficult. So don't follow what I'm doing at all because I'm making my life harder. I would go back. I've overlocked, I've sewn it. I'm too far in now. So that's my sleeve set in. I'm just going to take that to the sewing machine. Well, this is my sign to take a break. I've managed to sew my sleeve on inside out. That was a bit silly. I was not paying attention. I got so distracted thinking about the sleeve insertion method that I've made a boo-boo. Thank goodness I didn't overlock it. I need to get my seam ripper out now and I'll be back. It's been a couple of days since I last spoke to you. The sleeve took ages to unpick. I sat down in the evening, but it was way too dark to be able to see what I was doing, and because this is quite fluffy, it catches quite easily. So I did it gradually over the weekend and haven't had enough time to get back in the sewing room. So I'm back in today, ready to get this finished. So all we need to do is pop the sleeves back in the right way round this time, pop the cuffs on, hem this, and then we're done. I'll have a new cosy jumper, hopefully by the end of this afternoon. Both sleeves are on and it's looking really, really cute so far. So now for the fiddly bit, we have got to attach this teeny tiny cuff to this humongous sleeve. So we need to do a couple of rows of gathering stitches and gather this entire sleeve and then sew it to here. You're gonna need a lot of pins for this step. was super fiddly, but we have very beautiful, voluminous cuffs and our sleeves are on. I need to now try and squeeze this through the overlocker and neaten up all my other edges. I'm also going to overlock the bottom before I hem that as well. And then we're done. And here is my finished Valdivia sweater. I am over the moon with how this turned out. I knew I would love it because of how much I love my other version, but this one is a little bit more practical, I think, because of the colour. It goes with so much in my wardrobe, more than I thought it would. I'm already planning a third version of this in my head. On the Higgs Higgs website, they have a bright white and a mauve version of this fabric, and I really can't decide between the two, so please help me down in the comments and let me know which one you think I should make next. I'll link the Valdivia pattern down in the comments alongside this beautiful fabric as well, so if you want to shop them, they'll be down there. But if you have any other questions about anything I've featured or mentioned today, please pop a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. That's everything from me today. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Have a wonderful week and I will see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.